You've gotten really good at hiding it. The warm, slightly too loud, "Hey, so good to see you," that somehow never includes their name, calling them man, boss, buddy, anything that buys you another 30 seconds, quietly steering the entire conversation around the one hole sitting right in the middle of it. Because here's what you're covering for. You've met this person 3, maybe 4 times. You remember their dog. You remember they're weirdly intense about hating cilantro. And you have no idea, none, what they're actually called. And somewhere along the line you decided that says something about you, that you're a little careless, a little cold, a little bad with people. The next few minutes are going to show you it says almost the exact opposite. And by the end, you'll know precisely which of the 2 kinds of name forgetter you are. So, what's actually happening in there? The instant you meet someone, your brain floods with work. It's reading their face, catching the tone living underneath their words, running the oldest program we've got. Am I safe? Do they like me? What do I say so I don't come off strange? That little mental tray where you hold things for a few seconds, it's already stacked past the top. And right then, the person offers you the one piece of themselves that arrives completely empty. Their name, their face tells you something. Their voice, the way they carry themselves, the energy coming off them, all of it is information your brain can do something with. But a name, the first time you hear it, is just a sound wearing a person's clothes. So while the rest of them sinks in, the name has nothing to catch on. It slips past you and it's gone. Your brain didn't drop the ball. It made a decision. It kept what carried meaning and quietly let go of the one thing that didn't. Want to watch your brain do this in real time? Think about your favorite song. You know exactly how it makes you feel. You know the line you shout in the car with the windows up. You could hum the whole thing, front to back, right now. Now tell me its actual title, the full, real name of it, the album it's on. A lot of you just discovered you have no real idea what your favorite song is even called, and that's not a failure. The song is what mattered. The title was just the label stuck to the case. You kept the music and threw the sticker away. That's exactly how your brain treats people. Here's the part that should genuinely mess with you. There is exactly one name on the planet your brain refuses to miss. Not your best friend's, not your mother's, yours. You've been in a room so loud you couldn't follow a single conversation. Music, a wall of voices, just noise. And then somewhere across that room, someone you weren't even listening to says your name. And you hear it instantly. Your head turns before you've decided to turn it. Psychologists call it the cocktail party effect. And on paper, it's wild. Drop someone's name into a stream of sound they've been told to completely ignore, and about a third of people catch it anyway. Their attention is somewhere else entirely, and the name still cuts straight through. So why that name, and not the one you got handed 30 seconds ago? Because your name stopped being just a sound a long time ago. You've heard it 1,000,000 times. It's soaked into everything. Every time you were called, praised, scolded, loved. It's the most meaning-heavy word you own, and that's the whole thing. In one image. A brand new name shows up with none of that. No history, no weight, nothing under it. You're asking your brain to treat a stranger's name the way it treats your own, and it can't. Meaning is the glue. The name didn't fail to stick. There was nothing yet for it to stick to. Okay, here's where it stings a little. For a lot of us, the introduction was never really about the other person at all. The whole time they're saying their name, you're not actually with them. You're a half step behind your own face, checking how you're landing. Am I interesting? Did that joke work? Are they going to want to talk to me again? You're not getting to know a stranger, you're performing for one. And a performance has no spare attention for the name of the person in the front row. There's a name for this, and it's been caught in a lab. In 1973, a researcher named Malcolm Brenner had people sit in a circle and take turns reading a word aloud, then tested them on what they'd heard. The word they forgot most reliably wasn't a random one in the middle. It was the one said right before their own turn. The last thing they heard before they had to perform was the thing they were almost guaranteed to lose. He called it the next in line effect. The moment your brain knows it's about to be on, it quits listening and starts rehearsing. And in a real conversation, the single most useful thing that person will ever hand you, their name, almost always lands in that exact blind spot. So if that's you, take this clean. You don't have a weak memory. You have a crowded one. Those are not the same problem. Now here's where it gets good, because not everyone forgets names the same way. There are 2 kinds of name forgetter, and you're about to know exactly which one you are. Type 1, The encoder. For you, the name never made it in at all. It went in one ear and dissolved before it ever touched the page. There's nothing to dig up later because nothing was ever saved. Offer you $1,000 to guess the first letter and you'd walk away broke. You weren't there when it was said. You were somewhere behind your own eyes. Type 2. The retriever. For you, it's in there. You know it's in there? It's sitting on the tip of your tongue, doing that infuriating dance where you can feel the exact shape of it and still can't grab hold. And then, every single time, at 11 at night, brushing your teeth, thinking about absolutely nothing, it floats up on its own. Marcus. It was Marcus. Filed perfectly. Just locked behind a door you couldn't open in the moment. Two completely different brains. One never wrote it down, the other wrote it down and lost the key. So tell me right now in the comments, are you an encoder or a retriever? I've got a theory about which one most of you turn out to be, and I want to see if I'm right. One word, drop it below, now flip it around, because some of you aren't the forgetter. You're the one who keeps getting forgotten. And if that's you, especially more than once, I'm not going to pretend it doesn't sting. It does. There's a particular ache in watching someone's face go blank when they see you, in having to offer your name a second time, a third time, and your brain does something cruel with it. It doesn't read it as an accident. Like somewhere in their head, you came in just under the line of worth keeping, a verdict, in a trial you were never told you were part of. But look at what you just learned. The person who forgot you was almost certainly doing one of the exact things we've been talking about, lost in their own monologue, tray stacked past the top, busy absorbing the shape of you instead of the tag on the front. They didn't decide you weren't worth holding. Their brain just made a tiny, unrelated call about one arbitrary sound. You weren't the thing that got dropped. The name was. You stuck. The syllables didn't. And here's the part almost no one tells you. People who lose names tend to have a very particular kind of memory, one that doesn't file by label. It files by feeling. They can hand you the exact mood of a conversation from 2 years ago. The throwaway thing a stranger said in a checkout line that they've never been able to shake. The look on a face the second something changed. They keep all the deep stuff. They just can't hold the little tag clipped to the front of it. That's not a broken memory. It's a memory tuned for depth instead of paperwork. And that means forgetting the name was never a sign you weren't paying attention. It's the receipt for how much of the rest of them you took in, none of which means you're stuck this way. If you actually want to get better at names, you don't need a sharper brain. You just need to do on purpose the one small thing your brain keeps skipping. Here it is. The second you hear the name, say it back out loud. Once. Marcus. Good to meet you, Marcus. Feels a touch awkward. Works almost every time. You just press the save button your brain refused to touch. Then in your head, pin it to anything at all. Marcus, from the gym. Marcus with the big goofy laugh. Marcus, with your uncle's exact jaw. You're not memorizing. You're handing that lonely little sound something solid to hold on to, so it stops sliding off the instant you look away. That's the whole thing. Say it, then anchor it. You're not repairing your memory. You're just covering for it for 5 seconds until it catches up. But before you go, I want to take something off your shoulders. So many people who are bad with names carry this quiet, low-volume story about themselves that maybe they're colder than everyone else, a little less present, a little worse at caring. And I want to kill that story before this ends because it has the whole thing backwards. Forgetting a name has nothing to do with how much someone matters to you. It comes down to what your brain chose to keep in the half second it had to choose. And every single time, it reached past the label and grabbed the part that actually counts. The way they showed up, the thing they said that landed somewhere real, the version of themselves they let you see. The name was only ever the wrapping paper. You kept the gift. So drop it below, encoder or retriever. And if this handed you something you didn't know you needed, you already know what to do. There's a lot more coming. I'll see you in the next one.